Junior players, your coaches will say keep things simple, chip pucks in, but college scouts want to see offensive production. All I did was dump pucks in because that's what the coach wanted me to do, but that solidified me as a bottom six player. I try to carry the puck in or make more moves, but as soon as I'd mess up, I was told to just play my game because I'm not a skill guy. I was nervous because I knew I needed to grow my game, but I lacked confidence. I hesitated and defenders shut me down. Even when I had tons of space, because I was yelled at by my coaches, my subconscious brain connected making moves with mistakes and getting benched. I spent hours a day stick handling, working on getting stronger in the gym, faster and more skilled, but I rarely used it. The mental side of my game has both decision-making IQ and confidence working together. Now, as a professional film coach, I'm putting everything I wish I knew into this video. My name is Xander. Welcome to Conscious Hockey, where we help AAA, junior, and college and pro players move up levels and score at a point-per-game pace. When the game is on the line in OT, coaches put the most offensive players on the ice, not the players who are most simple and safe. But the problem for so many hockey players out there is that they can see creativity, but they have no idea when and where to actually use it in their own game. This Team Canada player hits the brakes after just crossing the blue line. There isn't a single coach who ever tells players to gain the blue line and slow down, and yet it works right here. There's a fundamental conflict going on between head coaches, players, and scouts. You need to become aware of it, or else it'll impact your career negatively. Coaches don't mind certain safe, patient plays like this one, where the puck carrier attacks down to open up the outside to the pass to the trailer. Head coaches tolerate certain plays, but their advice usually doesn't recommend it. They'll say, get pucks on net, forecheck hard, and pass to the point to get shots. And yeah, some goals are scored like that, but for you to really stand out to scouts, you need to have more to your game than just ripping it on net from random angles and throwing passes to the point. If you were to describe this play to a head coach and ask them, would they recommend it? They'd certainly say no. Faking wide to between the legs, backhand drop pass to the slot. Most coaches would bench a player for even thinking of that, yet here is a top NHL prospect pulling it off just this way. Through years of being a player at the college level myself to now being a film coach and teaching IQ and confidence to players at the NHL, juniors, and AAA levels, and everything in between, it is 100% clear that the players that only listen to their coaches word for word do not develop. In order to really develop, you need to balance between a few things. What your coaches wants, which is simplicity and high success rate, to what you want, which is development and growth, and what scouts want, which is a certain level of raw talent that stands out from your peers. Take this back and forth passing play from Zegras and Caulfield. Every single pass came after a really good fake. Both players improved the situation dramatically every time they pulled the coverage away. Let's imagine this play doesn't go in or someone messes up and fans on the shot and misses. Coaches would yell at the player based on the negative outcome. Those players in their head would never do this confident or creative action ever again. But just think how backwards that is. Even if the deception was used in the right situation and the right idea is there, coaches will hurt your creativity based on a simple outcome. This basically means the only players who become creative either ignore their coaches or are successful from the very beginning, so coaches have no problem with it and give them a long leash. I see this pattern happening all the time. In order to be dominant, patient, a sniper like Zegras is here on this power play. You need a combination of confidence and also decision making. Zegras can read the situation and know objectively when to make a play. And a lot of AAA, junior, and college players know when to make plays, but it's fear of messing up and lack of confidence that holds them back. For other players, it's the opposite. They work all the time on building their confidence through visualization, self-talk, manifestation. But at the end of the day, if you make bad choices at the wrong times, you're going to fail. I understand where coaches' advice comes from. They want simplicity because complexity means mistakes. But for you to really develop and produce more, you need to take risks at the right moment. And let's be real here. This pass catch fake to between the legs, is it really risky? There is space to pull off this move. No, it's not risky because it's the right situation to make this play. Helping players build creativity and offensive production at the AAA, junior, and college, and even pro levels is what conscious hockey is all about. If you want to get more help on this, book a free call with me where we will assess your situation to see if we can help you. Link in the description. So most coaches don't really teach you when to use a skill play. They might give you opportunities and say, I don't mind that attempt, but most never say, here is when you do something creative. On breakaways, most coaches are hands-off. They don't really mind what you do. On 2-on-1s, coaches can get a little bit more hands-on, but usually their advice, from my experience, is kind of weird. Like big 2-on-1 drills in open ice, they demand you pass it in the neutral zone, which can be a valid choice in some situations to throw off the defender, but others, like here, it doesn't make sense. Even the off-puck player was wanting the shot here. When you never learn the reasons why it's best to pass or shoot, or the timing of any of these plays, you have a lot of conflicting ideas bouncing around in your head. Most players want to do what their coaches say, but how can you when coaches will say, keep things simple, but also in practice, they want a certain number of specific passes in the neutral zone, and they want passes to happen by a specific place on the ice. All this conflicting advice leads to slower decision making, and if you turn it over a few times, players will just end up simplifying their game to the extreme and rule out any creativity, patience, or poise. What gets noticed by scouts can be this high-end skill Middlestat shows here, pulling off a sick backhand toe drag, but it doesn't have to be. The reliability of your one-on-one choices is a key indicator scouts notice when assessing if you have the high-end offensive talent they are looking for. Reliability and consistency comes from knowing when you have clear advantages. Often, when players have clear advantages here, like Leonard does, they'll access the open space too early. Leonard knows he's going faster, but preserves open space by delaying the move to the outside and attacking the inside. Yes, the top-end players do make sick highlights, like this occasionally, but these are the icing on the cake. You must build your decision-making and confidence by recognizing subtle opportunities consistently, but also knowing how to skate to preserve them. Zegras has a ton of space, but he still lures the defenseman in. The same thing Leonard did moments ago. If you've ever felt like you are either panicking with the puck or getting surprised by defenders, this is your sign you aren't reading defensemen properly. There are specific red flags you need to develop an understanding of in order for your game to develop so that you don't continue to practice the wrong things. I created a complete masterclass explaining every aspect of the mental game and how so many players waste their potential by not figuring it out sooner. Click the link in the description or the video here to access it.